thorough process of identifying, preserving, analyzing, and presenting digital evidence. This process is known as digital forensics. Since the 1970s, the field of digital forensics has evolved to keep up with the widespread adoption of technology and the means in which these technologies are used for criminal activity. The use of computers for financial crimes in the 1980s helped shape digital forensic methods into what they are today. With the advent of modern computing, a new landscape for criminal activity has emerged. The need to gather new forms of evidence turned digital forensics into a vital tool used by law enforcement in the pursuit and conviction of crimes, both computer-based, such as human exploitation, cyberstalking, and cyber terrorism, but also computer-facilitated, such as illegal data breaches that result in the theft of information. To support this new discipline, specialized tools have also emerged to assist investigators in the capture, analysis, and preservation of evidence that might arise during the course of investigating that criminal activity. Any part of an enterprise system can be vulnerable to criminal activity, data theft, or unauthorized penetration. Forensic analysts must make sure to analyze storage media, hardware and operating systems, networks, and applications to locate the point of compromise. The mission criticality of the compromised application, system, or network determines the level of investigation. When conducting a forensic investigation, it is important to follow the digital forensic scientific process. This 8-step process covers the entire evidence gathering procedure, from data collection to examination and analysis to reporting. In the data collection phase, investigators obtain search authority, document the chain of custody, and hash and duplicate all evidence. In the examination and analysis phase, investigators validate their tools, perform analysis, and reproduce those methods and outcomes for assurance. The reporting phase is when conclusions are made and expert evidence or testimony is presented. Since investigators may be required to present evidence as part of expert testimony, using this scientific process increases the likelihood that any evidence found will be fully admissible in a court of law. Another important consideration for organizations, should they be the victim of a breach, is the possible mishandling of evidence by untrained staff. To mitigate this risk, an organization's evidence preservation considerations could involve bringing in either law enforcement or an external forensic specialist, should legal remedies such as criminal prosecution of the perpetrator be considered. Computer systems, networks, and mobile devices can all be utilized in or fall victim to a cyber attack. Each device type has different intrusion methods and requirements for evidence handling. This has led to the formation of 3 distinct branches of digital forensics. Computer forensics may rely on the need to create a disk image to preserve evidence, or virtual drives may be used to emulate an entire machine. Network forensics focuses on the monitoring and analyzing of computer network traffic. Mobile devices present their own unique challenges, due in part to memory volatility, as low-power DRAM used in smartphones can lose data when powered off. Thus, proper handling procedures and adherence to the documented chain of custody must be followed to protect and preserve such evidence. Regardless of where an attack occurs, the enterprise cybersecurity program should have policies that address all forensics considerations, such as contacting law enforcement, monitoring, and conducting regular reviews of forensic policies, guidelines, and procedures. This should take into account the need to preserve and maintain evidence, as well as other requirements such as accreditation. For example, in situations where cardholder data is involved, as well as the decision to involve outside specialists. When you discover that your enterprise has been breached, digital forensics can ensure that best practices are observed throughout the evidence gathering process. Without digital forensics, evidence can go unnoticed or become compromised, and systems may remain vulnerable to additional attacks. As cyber criminals get more sophisticated and data breaches become more damaging to enterprises, digital forensics and the digital forensic scientific process will continue to provide a means to bring cyber criminals to justice in our increasingly complex and fast-moving technological landscape.
Web Historian allows you to collect, display, and analyze web history data in a spreadsheet-style view. It collects web history, cookie history, file download history, and form history. Web Historian works with Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. It works with Windows 2000, XP, 2003, Vista, and 7. Let's install Web Historian. Open a web browser like Internet Explorer, Firefox, or Chrome. In the address bar, enter mandiant.com and press enter. On the Mandiant homepage that opens, click to select the products link. On the products page, click the free software link. Scroll down to Web Historian and click the link. On the Web Historian page, you can either fill out the information and click the Download Now button, or you can click the Download Now link to just download the file without registering. You will then see the file and hash information. Click the Download Now button to start the download. On the download information bar, you can save the file to the computer before installing it if you like, or as I prefer, just click the Run button. This will download the file and then automatically start the installer. Once the download finishes, the Web Historian setup window will open. Click the Next button. On the End User License Agreement screen, read the license agreement. Click to select I accept the terms in the license agreement, and click the Next button. On the Destination folder screen, click the Next button. On the Ready to Install Web Historian screen, click the Install button. After the installation finishes, on the Completed the Web Historian Setup Wizard screen, click the Finish button. Now that we have Web Historian installed, let's open it for the first time and go over how to use the program to analyze web history. Click on the Windows Start button, All Programs, Mandiant, Web History, and then click on the Web Historian icon. The Mandiant Web Historian application window will open. The first step in using Web Historian is to scan the computer for web history files. Click the Start Scan button. The Web History Scan window will open. Look under where it says, "Where do you want to look for web history?" If you have already extracted the specific individual history file you want to scan, you would select History File. If you don't have the file but only want to look at a single user on that computer, you would select Profile folder, and then select the root of the user profile. Most of the time, and in this case, we are going to select Scan My Local System. This will search the entire computer for web history files, and then display the data from all of them combined. You can then filter it out by user or whatever else you want. With the Scan My Local System selected, click the Start button. It will then change to the Agent Output tab and display information as it scans. Once the scan is finished, click the Close button. It will close out to the Form History tab. Some user and password information may be contained here, although it doesn't work with most new web browsers. Let's click on the Web History tab. Here we can see that there are 214 pages of information, and we are on page 1. You can type in the page number or use the forward and backward arrows to change pages. Here is a list of all the web pages that have been visited, along with information such as the date, URL, user, browser type, and more. You can sort by any column that you like by clicking on the column name. Let's click on the last visit date column twice. Clicking it once sorts with the oldest first. 2 will sort by the newest first. So now looking down the list, we can see all the sites visited. Let's expand the URL column to be able to see the links a little better. Here I can see that we visited the Mandiant.com website. Let's say we didn't know what this was and we wanted to check it out. Let's right-click on it and select Open URL in Browser. Your default web browser would open with the selected website. The Cookies History tab contains information on website cookies, their paths, and other information. You'll find most of what you need on the Web History tab rather than on the Cookies History tab, so we won't go into that much. Let's click on the Download History tab. Here you will find entries showing the source URL of the file and the directory on your computer that it was downloaded to. There is not any right-click option here. You can browse through Internet Explorer to the target directory and then open the file manually to see what it is. Let's find an entry that we want to investigate. Let's look for some sort of image file to check out. If we look down here, we can see nav_logo99.png. Let's say we weren't sure what this is and it didn't come from Google, but we wanted to know what it was. If we go over under target directory and expand this column, here we see the full path to where the directory is. Let's open Internet Explorer and then browse to the file. Alright, it's on the C drive. Users. The user account name, which in this case is my cat's name, Sasha. App data. Local. Microsoft. Windows. Then click on Temporary Internet Files. Even if you have Windows Explorer set to show hidden system files, the contents.ie5 folder is hidden and cannot be seen. This has to be typed in manually to get to the next part. And in the address bar, I'll click once to be able to see the full address. Enter /content.ie5. Press enter. We're now inside this hidden file. Now in here we need to go to this T8, T9 file. Double click on that to enter. OK to the warning. Now inside here we'll browse for nav_logo99. Here it is. Let's double click and open it. OK, so we can see here that it's just basically the Google logo and various buttons that it uses. So we now have the knowledge to scan the computer and open the web history logs in Web Historian. We can also open downloads and web pages to investigate further. Hopefully this will help you investigate problem internet users and remind the rest of us to clear our web history.
Welcome to Dunk from CCL Forensics. Alex here, the developer of Dunk, and in this brief video we're going to take a look at the features of the tool and how it can help digital investigators to uncover and add context to web evidence. Cookies are often seen as the poor cousin of web evidence, and as a result are often overlooked. They can, however, provide important insight into a user's activities. So, let's take a look at Dunk. So Dunk is based around a project file. The first thing we need to do is create a new project. We do that by going to the File menu and selecting New Project. We give the file a location, a case reference, and a name. So now we have an empty project file. From here we're going to want to import some cookie files. The first thing we need to do is add a new exhibit to the project. We do that by clicking Add Exhibit and giving it a reference. Dunk supports all the major PC browsers and a number of mobile browsers as well, including iOS and Android. But today we're going to be importing cookies from Mozilla. So we need to select Mozilla Firefox 4.0 and then browse to the file that we're going to import. Then we can click OK, and Dunk will import the cookies. First of all, the All Cookies tab. This tab gives you the traditional view of the cookies in their raw format without any other parsing taking place. However, you can search and filter. For example, if we wanted to look for all cookies that mention Google, enter it in the search box, and there are our results. More interestingly, the Google Analytics tabs, first of all the visit stats. Google Analytics cookies can give you real rich insight into a user's activities. The Visit Stats tab gives you the number of visits to a particular domain and up to 3 timestamps for the first visit, the previous visit, and the most recent visit. The Visit Source tab gives you information about how a user actually arrived at a particular site. For example, here we can see a user entering a search term to arrive to a particular site from Google, a link followed on another page, and when you see direct, you can tell that a user typed the URL directly or followed a bookmark that they previously saved. Finally, the Session Cookies tab goes through all the cookies looking for likely candidates for session cookies. This may uncover a user's logon information such as usernames, email addresses, sometimes even passwords. Putting all of this together gives you real insight into a user's activity on their browser. Dunk is available for free trial download by visiting www.ccl-forensics.com/dunk. It's one of a number of tools we've designed for forensic investigators that are now available. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and if you have any questions or queries about the tool, please do contact us at dunk@cclforensics.com.
Welcome to the new Internet Evidence Finder version 6.0. In recent updates, we've added several new features that we think you will be excited to use on your cases, including web page rebuilding, picture and video analysis, and in the latest upgrade, Mac file system support and multi-threading. We've also added a new feature to our report viewer called IEF Timeline that will allow you to view search results graphically, so you will get a visual timeline for the suspect's activity. Here's how to get started with IEF version 6.0. On the first screen, select drives, files and folders, and images that you want to search. For the drives or images, select the partitions you wish to search, and then click Next. On the following screen, you will see that a full search, or the equivalent, has been selected for each selected partition. You can modify the search to be a quick or sector level only search if desired. Quick, when you want to quickly scan for non-deleted data. Full search, when a complete scan of the system is required, including deleted space. Sector level only, for non-supported file systems, or when you want to bypass the file system. Or custom, which allows you to customize which locations you would like to search. As you select items and confirm the type of search you want to run, they will be added to the window in the lower half of the screen. Items are then searched in the order they are listed. On the second screen, select our list of artifacts to search. We currently support over 200 internet-related artifacts, including social networking sites, web activity, cloud artifacts, chat messengers, peer-to-peer file sharing applications, pictures and videos, mobile backups, and more. Double-click on the headings to select all artifacts in a category, or deselect all items if you'd prefer to select the artifacts individually from the list. By default, all artifacts are checked to be searched. On the final screen, select the destination folder. If you wish, enter case information and add search alerts. Click Find Evidence, and the search will begin. The search status window will keep you up to date on the search progress. As artifacts are recovered, they will populate in the IEF report viewer. Click on the artifacts to view more information, including the file offset and/or physical location. You can import and save keyword lists, use those keywords to conduct searches on the results, run filters on different fields, and/or bookmark any items of interest. It's also easy to create and export data into a standardized report to hand off for the next stage of investigation. By viewing the results in IEF Timeline, you can zero in on specific dates in time or spikes in activity. A more in-depth video on IEF Timeline can be found on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/magnetforensics1, and on our website, magnetforensics.com. If you have any questions or would like a demo of Internet Evidence Finder, please visit magnetforensics.com, send us an email at sales@magnetforensics.com, or give us a call at 519-342-0195.